Welcome, everyone. Today we're looking at something so wonderfully common, yet completely misunderstood by almost everyone who lives with a feline. You know the exact moment I'm talking about, right? You walk into a room and boom, your cat suddenly drops into this massive, luxurious stretch. It looks like they just woke up. Well, today in this explainer, we're going to unlock a secret language your cat is using right in front of your eyes. Because behind that simple little movement is actually one of the most intimate signals your cat can possibly give you. Okay, let's dive into this. I really want you to challenge your own assumptions here for a second. For years, we've kind of just thought of stretching as a purely physical necessity, just loosening up a stiff body. But think about the timing. The timing is highly, highly suspicious. I mean, if your cat only needed to loosen up, why do they wait for the precise second you walk through the door? Why not 5 minutes earlier when you weren't even in the room? The truth is, this isn't about their body at all. It is entirely about you. Researchers who study feline behavior actually have a specific name for this. They call it social stretching. It's an intentional action triggered entirely by your presence. It's not triggered by tight hamstrings, and it's not triggered by just waking up from a nap. When your cat sees you, something in their brain literally says, now. Do it now. That timing is not random. It's a highly evolved form of communication directed straight at you. Which brings us to their upgraded feline software, a totally learned behavior. To really understand this stretch, we have to look back at where cats actually came from. And this brilliantly illustrates the divide between wild and domestic cats. If you look at wild cats, they're entirely instinct-driven. They have zero need for human communication behaviors. In fact, wild cats never developed this social stretch because, well, they simply didn't need it. They had no humans to talk to. But domestic cats? When they started living alongside us thousands of years ago, they began developing learned behaviors exclusively for human interaction. They aren't running an old, purely instinctive program anymore. They got an upgrade. According to animal cognition researchers, domestic cats developed a unique suite of tools used only with us. Not with other cats, not with prey, just humans. For example, they meow at adults, whereas wild cats only do that as kittens. They do the slow blink to build trust with us. And of course, they use the social stretch. When your cat stretches in front of you, they are performing a profoundly meaningful, learned gesture. It's something their wild ancestors had absolutely no reason to do. Let's move on to the invisible signature and the hidden biological mechanics happening right under our noses. So we know the stretch is communication, but there is also a hidden biological mechanic happening right at the exact same time, specifically targeting your cat's paws. This is fascinating stuff. You might not know this, but your cat has scent glands hidden in places you probably never imagined, including right between the pads of their paws. When they drop down into that deep stretch, especially if they're kneading or pressing their paws into the floor, the couch, or even your feet, those glands are being actively triggered. They're releasing pheromones that are completely undetectable to our human noses, but to other cats, they speak volumes. So when they do this right in front of you, they are actively leaving invisible marks. It's their way of saying, this human is part of my world and I want everyone to know it. It's territorial, for sure, but not in a totally aggressive way. It's a declaration of comfort territory and a safe space. You'll never smell it, but every single time they stretch at your feet, your cat is essentially signing their name on you. Now, let's talk about the inner circle, because cats can be pretty ruthless about who makes the cut. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how competitive this gets, because cats do not just hand these invisible signatures out to whoever happens to be in the room. Notice the stark contrast here. Studies observing households with multiple humans found that cats definitely pick favorites, and actually, it has almost nothing to do with who simply fills the food bowl. It's all about hierarchy. The chosen favorite gets a massive frequency of social stretches, eye contact, and slow blinks. The partner or roommate? Maybe just a little. The house guest? Absolutely zero. No way. They are showing who holds the highest place in their inner world. If they walk right past your partner to drop into a stretch right by your chair, congratulations, you are officially their person. This brings us to where we see this most often, mornings in those classic hallway blockades. Let's look at a highly relatable context, the morning stretch. To really get this, we need to know that cats are crepuscular. That's just a fancy word meaning they're most active during the twilight periods of dawn and dusk. So when you open your eyes in the morning and see your cat stretching right beside your bed, you might think they just woke up with you. Nope. They've likely been awake for hours. They could have stretched at literally any time, but they deliberately waited until your eyes opened to perform this morning ritual.
When we compare the two most common stretches side by side, it's pretty revealing. The bedside morning stretch is a deeply vulnerable greeting. Behavior experts say it's basically their way of saying, "You are back in my world, we made it through the night." It's pure relief and vulnerability. But compare that to the middle of the hallway blockade. Oh, you know the one. Sprawled out exactly where you need to step, they know your walking patterns. They chose the one spot impossible for you to ignore. The meaning here is, I am the main focus, and the emotion is cheeky, undeniable confidence.
That hallway stretch is a highly strategic bid for attention. They're essentially saying, I know you're busy, but I am way more important than wherever you're going right now. Some behavior experts view this as a tiny test of control. Can they redirect your attention whenever they want? And let's be honest with ourselves, they are usually right. We stop, we look down, we laugh, we step over them super carefully. Every single time you pause your movement for them, you totally validate their brilliant little strategy. But what happens when your cat doesn't stretch? Let's talk about what that actually means.
So, what if you're sitting there thinking, well, my cat never does this? First off, do not panic. Your bond is not broken and your cat doesn't hate you. But cats usually skip this behavior for a few specific reasons. The environment might just be too chaotic or loud, keeping their bodies too physically tense to fully relax and let their guard down. Or perhaps way more commonly, they simply learned the signal doesn't work. Because this is a learned human interaction behavior, it only sticks around if it is rewarded. If they stretched in front of you 10 times in the past and you just walked right past them to get your morning coffee, they learned that this specific radio frequency doesn't reach you, so they stopped broadcasting on it.
So the crucial point is that this can absolutely be rebuilt. Here are the actionable steps to show your cat that you are finally listening to them. Number 1, pay extremely close attention to any small attempt they make to connect with you. Number 2, stop what you're doing and acknowledge them. Give them a slow blink, a soft word, or a gentle touch if they're open to it. You have to teach them their signals work again. And number 3, do whatever you can to reduce the chaos in the household so they feel safe enough to let go of that physical tension. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If you aren't currently the chosen favorite getting those luxurious morning stretches, what is missing for you to become the person your cat loves to fully stretch out for? I really encourage you to watch your pet's behavior far more closely today. Notice the timing, notice the locations, and remember, that stretch is not just tight muscles, it's them signing their name on your heart. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.